Have you ever noticed that extremists usually are out of order? You can always argue against them and win. Well, let me tell you why. Because it's not particularly good to be an extremist majority of the time. I mean, if you think about it, extremists usually they're far to the right or too far to the left. Like, you can argue that shit. So, for example, let's take religion. Okay? Now, we have some religious people that are like, they have a great little balance to them. So, they have their beliefs and they'll tell you about their beliefs. And you tell them how they feel about it. And it might not be, you might not particularly agree. I mean, you guys might not agree with each other. So, let's just take being gay. Okay? Alright, well, I'm gay. Well, this is how I feel. In the Bible, it says that being gay is a sin. God burned down a city that was full of gays. Blah. Alright? Okay, you put your point. Then I say, well, I feel this is natural. This is how I was born. This is how it's going to be. They say, well, that's your way of living. I'm going to love you regardless. Because I understand you're a human being. And you have humanity. Okay? So, with that being said, I can mess with somebody like that. I can really understand where they're coming from. They said their view and how they felt. I told them how I felt. They said that, I'm going to love you regardless. I see that this doesn't make you. This particular thing about you does not make you as a person. Okay, your character has not been condemned. You're not a horrible person because you are gay. So, then you have the extremists, okay? The extremists, those people who are like, you're going to hell, and this is why the world, we have the New World Order, and all this type of stuff, and black gays, they're ruining the black community, all that bullshit, okay? That's crap, okay? There's a lot of successful gay people out there, and all because you're gay does not mean you're a horrible person. That means you like to have sex with the same sex. And you love the same sex, okay? I don't see what's so wrong with loving someone. What I have a problem with is when you're pushing out hate so much. That's where me and you and where people should really have a problem with other people is if you're really pushing out hate. If you're pushing out love, if you're pushing out positivity, I don't see what the problem is. Okay. So then you have then like those religious extremists, it usually ends up in something negative because it's like, usually you can take people from Middle Eastern or you can take people from America. They use their religion to justify slavery. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are extremists. Those are people that I'm afraid of, because those are people that can really use something, a belief that can go all types of wrong. So I just believe that we need to have a balance. Another thing is that extremists believe that they can freaking cure people from being gay. And that's just not particularly true. Like, you can't, first of all, if the person's going to be cured or decide not to be gay, it's their choice. It's not yours. You see what I'm saying? And there's no prayer that you could particularly do that's going to change them. It has to be within them. Second, if they are desiring to have sex with someone, if they're desiring to be with that person and they decide that, I'm just going to go sleep with a woman, but deep down they're thinking about a man, and I'm talking about a man, and they're thinking about another man, like, let's be real. They're gay. They just decided that to them, they're being condemned. They're scared to be themselves. And so they decide to have sex with a woman. That doesn't mean that they're straight. And there's a lot of them out there. It's called in the closet. Okay. Then we have the whole black versus white thing. Okay. Have to bring up race because this is where my whole thing came into play. We have the black people that are like, white people are the devil and you should hate them and all this other type of stuff. I just saw it on my page. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, because let's be honest, there is bad white people, there's bad black people, and just like I can be killed by a white person, I could be killed by a black person. Most likely, I'll probably be killed by a black person before I be killed by a white person, because usually the people that kill you are the people that you're around. And now where I stay by a bunch of black people. So, with that being said, I just feel like that's too extreme. Like, yes, white people is fucked up, okay? Black people are fucked up. Like, let's be honest, we're both fucked up. People are fucked up, okay? Like, every type of race. There's no, and that's the problem. Like, we're saying that they're racist, and then we sit up here and we freaking condemn them. It's just like, you can't push hate. You can't fight against hate with hate. Like, what are you gonna get? Hate. Hello? Like, you're putting two negatives together, and it's like, what do you expect out of that? You know? So, then you have the other side of the extremists. So you have, the white extremists, where it's the KKK. Okay? The thing I don't get about them is that most of them, they're economically under middle class. And they're mad at other people that are under middle class. Like blacks, like Mexicans. Majority of them. So my question to them would be, instead of you fighting people that can't even give you money in the first place, if we were wiped out, you would pretty much just take our jobs. That ain't shit anyways. That's why we mad now. So my thing is, instead of fighting us, you should be fighting against the government. You should be fighting against the people that are economically have all the money. Like, would that make more sense? Like, why would you fight against somebody that doesn't even have what you particularly want? Exactly. And then your second argument, so one of them is economically you're in a bad position, and then secondly, it's because we're black, it's because of our race, which is something that was created by man. Race was created by man, and you're mad at us because somebody decided to put a title on what we look like, on the color of our skin. Come on. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, we need to educate ourselves. We need to really understand our beliefs and why we believe certain things. Or we're just walking around ignorant and believing things that we probably really don't believe in. So, yeah. I just think that to just end this mug, we just really need to try to understand the things that we hate. Because if you really try to, and when I say understand, I mean study it. So if you don't particularly like all white people, think to yourself, why don't I like all white people? Like, why don't I just target on a few bad little apples in that freaking, in that race? Why don't I target those people instead of targeting all of them? And then, so if you hate, let's just use that target to be the KKK. If you hate them, why do you hate them? We need to understand why they do what they do. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would the KKK hate black people? So if I was KKK, I would be like, okay, why do I hate black people? Because they're taking all the jobs. Because they're lazy. Well, why do you think they're lazy? Because they sit at home and they don't have no jobs. Okay. Well, I would have to go study them. I'll have to go see if they actually have jobs. And then if they didn't, I would be like, well, why don't they have jobs? Maybe because they live in the inner city where there's pretty much not a lot of jobs. Or the jobs they do have is barely enough to even make a living off of. So you putting all your hours into something that can't even pay your one bill. You see what I'm saying? So you have to ask yourselves those questions and really dig within yourselves, or you're just wasting your fucking life. You're wasting your life sitting up here pushing out hate and hating people. That's such a waste. You need to love yourself, and you need to try to love others or have compassion for others, or it's just a waste of time, y'all. So peace and love, and leave some comments.